Zon Carvalho.
Hello.
You told us about your life. You were literally an international model in your teens. You walked away from a family fortune to pursue art. You decided to get into doing screen printing and have an apparel company. That led to a photography company. You met a gal. You guys got married. You had 3 kids. Things fell apart. There were a lot of mental health issues that she was struggling with. And then it led to a divorce. You became a single father raising 3 boys. And we discussed about how you're extremely unrelenting and you believe in yourself. You believe that you deserve it. And so you push really hard to make sure that you get the things that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to discuss goal setting with you because I think it's crucial that somebody who's going to go down the path of setting goals feels that they deserve crazy and wild results. But you're not going to set hard to achieve goals if you don't believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you set goals, what things do you have in mind as far as what you want to do with setting goals?
I think that first of all, goal setting, it's a lifestyle. I really believe that in order for me or anyone to overcome where they are or to rise up or ascend to a different level, if you will, they need to let go of where they are. In order for anyone to achieve a higher level in their life and their pursuit of greatness, is to create a new baseline, create a new normal, because otherwise, it's the devil that we know versus devil that we don't know. So a lot of people are comfortable in their misery because the risk of doing something greater or going really after what they want is scary. So I feel that by goal setting, you are forced to be into this. What goal setting does? It cuts away the noise. There's so much noise in our life that you can set a goal that you want to be a millionaire in 10 years. Great, with your company, right? What are you doing about that today? Most people don't have that answer. It's the same way like when who said that? I just heard about this today, that a job will last as long as you give it. So if you have 6 months to do a job, it's gonna take 6 months to do it. However, if you give yourself 3 months to do the job, you're gonna have to cut some noise out of that. You're gonna have to eliminate some things out of your life, out of your priorities, or to become really clear about your priorities are, because now there's a time limit on that goal. You know what I mean? So that shifts the priorities in your life. So there's so many things that we do. It's like, oh, it's just the way that I am. Is it? Is it really just the way that I am, or is it just the way that you have been doing it? So what happens if all of a sudden that 6 month goal gets cut into 3? Well, if it get cut into 3, could it be in a week? You know what I mean? That's the part of it that I love about goal setting, is that it eliminates the noise. It really gets me to be laser focused into what I really, really want. And then at that time, I have an opportunity to evaluate, do I really want this? And yes or no. Yes, let's go. That's the way that I choose, like what to create. If I'm going to spend a unknown amount of hours into a piece of art, because I don't know how long it's going to take when I start. It could be 30 minutes, 30 seconds, or 30 hours, or 300 hours. I have no idea. However, in order for me to commit myself into this painting, into this piece, into this creation, I have to have a reason to do it. And that reason needs to be compelling enough, to be able to stick to it, to be able to finish the piece. So what is the goal that I want? I want to convey a feeling. I wanted to convey an emotion. I wanted to inspire somebody. So that's the goal of the piece. Now, as I am creating this thing, I have the opportunity to be like, okay, is this in alignment with the goal or not? Is this, and this is just a metaphor, because the same way that if my goal is to open a card tinting business, or to get my company to $100 million, cut the noise. How is it that I'm going to get there? That's what I love about goals, because it forces me to cut the noise, to really focus in what it is that I want. And then once I have that clear picture of this thing that I want, I can make an educated decision. Do I really want that or not? Am I willing to spend an unknown amount of time, in order to achieve this thing?
Right. But you're going to have people at home listening right now that are coming up with every possible excuse to not be able to set a crazy goal, right? So they're either like you, driven, they're going to go after it, right? They're going to appreciate your words just as they came out. Or you're going to have people that go into victim mode, that might go into their programs, that might go, yeah, but he's not dealing with the things that I have to deal with.
Right.
And I mean, you lost your house 2 weeks after you have a baby boy. You have a 2-week-old baby boy. You're getting an eviction notice. Your wife is getting out of a mental health facility. The divorce is coming. You have all of these things stacked against you. You're a father of 3 boys by yourself, single.
Yeah.
And you choose, no, I'm doing my art. I'm running my life the way I want to run it. So what can somebody hear right now that's sitting at home and saying, no, I couldn't possibly do that because A, B, and C. And here's all the reasons that I'm never going to achieve the results that I want in life.
Well, I can say, and so it is.
I mean, that's
you can't
fair.
push a rope.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't push a rope. If you don't have it in you, you're not going to go after it. I mean, you can set mediocre goals and you achieve them, and then maybe little by little, you inch yourself into scarier and scarier goals. No problem. Everybody at their own pace, However, to think that where we are is the best that we'll ever get, that is just a limiting belief. And I feel that it's a matter of like exposure. I had great exposure to successful people in my life. I had great exposure to people that have done incredible things. So why can't I?
I want to touch on goal setting for a moment, because I liked what you said about, set a big goal and reach out for it. I know people that are in very severe states of depression, and I encourage them intentionally to set very small goals. Make your bed every day, brush your teeth every day. When you brush your teeth every day, floss every day. Those smaller goals are better than for these types of people who are just highly unmotivated or highly depressed, to show themselves that they can create some consistency in their life that is productive and supporting their actual life, whether it's hygiene or whatever it is. Do that small goal every day, so that then you can get to a place where what you're talking about, which is, I'm going to set a big goal, I'm going to figure out how to get there. But there must have been a point in your life where the level of depression, the big goal just seems so overwhelming that by itself was an additional main line of depression, or supporting the depression, because it's too big of a goal. I'm never going to do that. All the negative headspace that comes in with that's too big, I'm never going to get there. A lot of people today, men that I know, are in that space of it's too big. And then they start getting into the negative IMs about what they can and cannot do, and they start creating all these absolutes. So I hear what you're saying. I also don't want to be dismissive of where different people are on their path, on their timeline of, hey, sometimes the series of smaller goals will pull you out of that, where a bigger goal now is something that is
Attainable.
Yeah. My grandfather used to say something that like as I was rushing through life to achieve things, his common thing was to say that a chicken eats one kernel at a time. You know what I mean? So that's what I get from what you're saying, what the small goals are. The goal is to be satiated. However, we know we can get a giant spoon and feed ourselves, and within 2 bites, we're probably pretty good. However, that small goals that you're talking about, to me, that's what it sounds like. It will be like, okay, well, just do one kernel, and then eat another one. Eventually, they're going to be full.
Sure. And everyone's at a different point in their own timeline, right? So at some point, those smaller goals aren't enough. They're not motivating enough. But if that's what starts the engine, then yeah, go for it. Set a series of small goals throughout the day, because it's better than and more productive than looking at a bigger goal and simply not even trying.
Yeah, I think that underneath all that is a why.
Sure. What is the actual why?
Why is this goal important? Why is it important for me to shower? Speaking of people that are severely depressed, like, why is it important for me to go outside? Why is it, it doesn't matter, but because of the why, it's not clear. Maybe there isn't like a hope that this will lead into something better, However, it is that commitment with one little thing at a time, And again, maybe the thing is that I'm going to, watch this show that makes me feel better. It could be something as insignificant to somebody else, like whatever it is that brings you peace, do that, And if you have a bigger why, then absolutely.
Especially if you just simply even know what your why is.
Yeah. I think that's the problem.
Yeah. So many people, I know a lot, almost everyone I know that has children, that's their why. Of course, that's their why.
Yeah.
If they care about their kids, that's their why. There's more to it than that, because sometimes, and I've noticed with a lot of them, that there's still a lack of accountability with that particular why. It's like, I can still show up and be nice to them and create a relationship with them. There's more to it than that.
Yeah.
So what is the actual motivating why? And you can see the people that have a why, like that is concrete.
Right.
And you can see and experience the way that they're moving through their timeline versus people who have, that's my why. It's this. And they're not doing nearly as much with the time that they have.
And again, I think that goes back to, who are your people? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you motivating yourself with? If you're surrounding yourself with people that are feeding into your story, and that story is really not beneficial to your growth, then so it is, But if you're surrounding yourself with people that are driven, go-getters and stuff, then
you want to be wealthy, surround yourself with wealthy people.
Exactly.
You want to be, spiritual, surround yourself with spiritual people.
Totally.
Well, you had said that you had the opportunity to be around a lot of successful people, right? And so with that being in mind, all of the successful people that you were around, the people that you were emulating so that you could emulate their results as well, what common thread did you see in all of those successful people that you implemented into your day-to-day life to achieve your goals and made it end up being a habit or a lifestyle, like you were saying?
Discipline.
Okay.
I feel that, and as you were saying that, I was thinking from Napoleon Hill to billionaires that I know, and it's discipline, it is. And the discipline is not necessarily that you do 10 push-ups every day and you ice bath at 7:00. No, that's not the discipline. Is the discipline to tell yourself the things that you want to hear to get yourself to where you want to go. It's like, it's that little, like you were talking about the people that are having this victim mentality in their mind and stuff. Well, they are disciplined to that story as well. And that's why they're having the results that they're getting. It's in alignment with the story,
Yeah, it's like, if you fought half as hard to achieve your results that you do to defend the results that you currently have.
Yeah. It's just like, when we have this belief system that we cannot lift, like if this phone weighs 1,000 pounds, there is no way that I know that I can lift this with my hand. You can put me under hypnosis and put sensors in my arm to like tell me that this phone is it weighs 1,000 pounds, and I will not be able to lift it off the table, even though it's a phone, because I'm under hypnosis, and my body, if you put sensors in my arm, the muscle that is contracting the phone to me is my biceps. The triceps are responsible for stretching your arm. Those measuring devices are going to measure a higher output of power from the triceps than the biceps, because your reality needs to stay true for you. You cannot lift 1,000 pounds on, even though if you're under hypnosis and this is an ounce of a phone, your triceps will put up more power to hold that reality in place, because you don't believe that you can do it.
Well, it's the 4-minute mile, like concept of the 4-minute mile. It could never be done. It could never be done. Somebody does it. The next year, 4 people do it, or something like that, right?
Yeah. So again, how did a guy break it? And how, actually, no, not how he broke it. How did the other people break it? Because it was possible. Somebody did it and showed them it was possible.
Right.
And now maybe they surrounded themselves with people that were empowering the vision of, let's go do it. You can do it too. And then boom, boom, boom. Now it happens often.
And there's somebody out there right now, like Brandon was saying, they haven't showered in a couple days, maybe even longer, right? It is the unsurmountable task. There's no way that they could get their ass in a shower right now. And like, those are the people, and I'll say men because this podcast is predominantly angled towards men. So if there is a woman out there that needs the support, obviously take the same advice, but stop telling yourself all the BS. Get out of bed, go get in the shower right now, and just shower. Shower. Just tell yourself, I'm going to shower. Get out of bed and go do it right now.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right. It just has to be done.
It just has to start. You know what I mean?
And I've personally, growing up, I struggled with depression myself and being manic and stuff like that. And, I wish that there was some message that came across my feed that was, get your ass out of bed and go take a shower right now. You're going to feel better. And then you know what? When you're done with that, go do another thing. Go feed yourself.
Or just go for a walk and be in public around other people and make eye contact. You're right, Zon. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
That I think it's actually a great point. Whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm just going to do it the best that I know how.
Yeah.
And if I surrender to the idea that it won't be perfect, as long as I am in some sort of alignment with what it is that I'm doing, it's not a false sense of me. The words match the music.
Right.
It doesn't have to, because what's perfect for you may not be perfect for me. And maybe I think it's not perfect, but the way that my timeline is impacting yours in that moment may be perfect for you in that moment.
Yeah.
And my timeline just simply crossing paths with yours, that may be what's perfect. I may not experience it that way. So to separate the idea of whatever it is I'm going to do won't be good enough. Like that's an absolute that just is simply impossible for one person to know, because I don't know your experience and your timeline, because I'm not you.
Right.
So for me to create this idea that it's not going to be perfect that's another fallacy. That's another way that people self-sabotage. That's just completely unnecessary. And if we extract that from the equation, just go take the shower. Just put your pants and your socks on. Just go for a walk.
Yeah.
Just say hello to one person. Make eye contact one time and say hello to anybody.
Yeah. And I know like what you're saying, from my experience with someone with severe mental health challenge, depression, they wouldn't do it. It's
a massive undertaking for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to diminish the effort.
It's
quite the opposite.
Pretty crazy, and I think that, what all of it comes down to is people need help. Sometimes you need to, when I was going through that period in my life, I not only was seeking counseling from support groups and stuff, I was in counseling with a whatever psychiatrist or whatever they're called. Was a psychiatrist and a psychologist. I never know the difference.
Psychiatrist gives meds. Psychologist just does the work with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and
no
there's
meds.
counselors and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff. I was trying everything else, because why? because I believed that this was not baseline, you know, that I believe that this is not my life and I'm going to find a way out of here. You know, so this is a upbringing. This is all of it is the conditioning that I had throughout my life. You know, some people will have different conditionings, of course, you know, yeah. And that's what I feel that has given me like the grit, you know, to fight and stuff. It was not only the examples that I had from family members and other people achieving amazing things, you know, but then also the you know, not feeling that I fit in that space. You know, it's just like when, you know, walk into the girls' bathroom next time that you are at a ball game, you're going to feel exactly how that feels. You're like, this is not your spot. You know, you don't belong here. You know, that's the feeling that I had when I was not in the places that I wanted to be. It was like walking into the girls' bathroom. You're like, oh, you know what I mean? I got to get out of here. You know, so I feel that is like, and one thing that I've just learned in the last couple of days is that the reason that people don't achieve their goals is not because their goals are too high or not high enough. Is because their ground, their floor doesn't rise. You know what I mean?
And that's why I'm happy that Brandon said something about those people that aren't able to even take a shower, right? Mm-hmm. Is because, look, I want to reach a man who made 10 million and goes, no, but it has to be 100 million. Like,
right. 10x.
Go get it, bro. Right. Go get it. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. But to me, it's far more important to reach somebody that just needs to take a shower.
And that's what I mean about raising the floor.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like now that floor that you raised by showering every day, now this is your new level. This is your new floor.
Right.
You know, and then you keep raising the floor. It's not necessarily about pursuing something that seems intangible when you got to be crazy and mad and disciplined and wake up, all of those things. Like, no, raise your floor. You know, you are alive. You're deserving. You know, God didn't make us to suffer. You know, the creator, the reason that we were put in this earth, it was not to suffer or perish, because otherwise everybody would be doing that.
Right. And in, let's say you don't raise to the next level, and the next level, and the next level today or this week, mm-hmm. right? But if you set a discipline that I don't give a shit how I wake up tomorrow, what condition I'm in mentally, I'm going to shower, right? Mm-hmm. After a while, it becomes the new norm. And then it does become the ground floor, but you're also going to give yourself that dopamine hit mm-hmm. from completing the task. And so, yes, you can do that little thing, give yourself the kudos. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it might sound goofy, but praise yourself while you're in the shower. Be like, hell yeah, you're taking a shower, you stinky ass. Mm-hmm. And laugh or smile or whatever. Like, because that's going to shape what your day ends up looking like. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, I was going to college and I was dealing with all this depression. And some beautiful girl smiled at me. And it lit me up, dude. Why is this gorgeous woman smiling at little old me, right? Mm-hmm. And so then I ended up like smiling, and I was like, hell yeah, all right. You know, I'm smiling at everybody as they walk by. And then everybody's smiling back at me. And everybody says misery loves company. It's absolutely true.
Absolutely.
But so does happiness. Yeah. If you do it the right way. So
one smile created a series of dopamine hits
for many people on campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you look at it in a different way, right? Like as men, you know, like look how little of recognition, of being seen, of appreciation for who we are, we really need in order to shift our beingness.
Yeah, and not everybody needs that all the time. But I'll tell you what, there's nobody on the planet that hasn't benefited from that notice, that recognition once or twice or half dozen times throughout their life.
And especially men, we don't get praised. You know, people don't say things. It's like, you know, what do we say? We're not supposed to cry, tough it up, man up, all of these things, so we keep bottling. We got to perform, provide, maintain, all of these things. And then if something fails, it's our fault. And then look at that. You get seen from somebody that is beautiful. You maybe out of your league or something like that. And then all of a sudden, that doesn't matter anymore. Like the class that you got kicked out of, or your bike got a flat tire. What? Susan Baker smiled at me. I don't know who Susan Baker is.
The notice me complex.
Right?
4 years ago, there was a woman I was doing a goal setting course with, right? Mm-hmm. And we're sitting in a meeting, lights coming through the window. I'm facing forward listening to the speaker. And this woman, who's absolutely beautiful, looks at me and goes, "God, you have the prettiest eyes." And I was like, "So, someone over there? Like, what?" And she goes, "No, seriously, like the way that the light's hitting your eyes." And I was putty in that woman's hands.
Yeah.
And I'm not dating her. This was 4 years ago. Never dated her. Nothing like that. I can still tell you the dress that she was wearing because it was such a crazy moment as being a man who, even especially at that time, didn't feel deserving of love, didn't feel deserving of great results, definitely didn't feel deserving of having a beautiful woman to tell me that I have beautiful eyes.
Right.
And it shook me. And I can still, I could draw the room.
Right.
With
Also,
how meaningful that moment was to me.
Kudos to you for not just assuming that because she complimented you that she wanted to be in a relationship in any capacity. Because that's something that also most men don't do, because the notice me complex is so deep and so jaded within them that a single notice from a woman becomes, she likes me.
Yeah.
She probably wants to sleep with me. Like, men go there so fast. I'm guilty of that. We've all done
For
it.
sure. I think it's 4 out of 5 interactions are mistaken for sexual suggestion.
Good on you for knowing better than that in the moment.
Well, maybe 4 out of 5 for men that aren't as beautiful as me.
Apparently with light glistening off their eyes.
Yeah.
I know how to woo you next time I want something from Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie, these
Your
studio
eyes
lights
under
are...
this
It's
light.
not the same. It's not the same.
The way that these lights are just reflecting off
You're
of
just
your
looking so
forehead.
You guys stop. Like, stop complimenting me. It feels good, but stop. Like,
You smell of burnt tires and grease.
Oh, yeah.
it's the Italian in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.